We are anonymous. How is it that it seems no one remembers just a few short years ago?
These are the steps.
Secretive organization known as Anonymous, a loose-knit group of computer hackers who came to the defense of WikiLeaks and got the attention of law enforcement in the process. They are young and stealthy, and they are potential giant killers.
Anonymous hacker activists have basically got together and are exacting revenge for what they see as attacks on WikiLeaks, and they're targeting a number of corporations that have cut off their ties with WikiLeaks.
So they see themselves as protesters. Essentially that the government can't prevent you or I from talking openly. They interpret it much more broadly. They believe that everybody has an inalienable right to say whatever they want on any forum whatsoever.
Now today, this group of computer hackers are apparently threatening cyber war over this WikiLeaks case. What do you know about that?
Yeah, NBC is reporting that Anonymous, it's a group we've heard of before, is threatening new attacks not only on U.S. corporations, but also on some of the government officials.
Number one story, MasterCard announced Monday it would no longer process payments to WikiLeaks. This morning, internet activists crashed its website. This afternoon, Visa.com crashed. Tonight, Twitter might be next. It suspended an Operation Payback account. A group calling itself Anonymous has been waging Operation Payback for a few months now. The group says it is dedicated to a, quote, anonymous, decentralized movement that fights against censorship and copy wrong.
Officials have confirmed that at least 41 Malaysian government websites had been hacked overnight. This follows a threat by hacker group Anonymous to punish the authorities for internet censorship. Officials say that 51 websites were hit and at least 41 of them were disrupted in these attacks.
Targets like HB Gary, a major cybersecurity firm some U.S. government agencies rely on to keep their computers safe. Last month, HB Gary boasted it would expose Anonymous. The response was swift. Anonymous took down their website, stole thousands of emails, and posted them on the internet. The CEO resigned. Anonymous is credited with bringing down government websites in Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya. And now it's made new threats against companies and government officials complicit in what it views as the mistreatment of Bradley Manning, the Army private accused of leaking to WikiLeaks.
Anonymous is powerful enough that it's certainly struck fear into the hearts of some of the biggest technology companies, the biggest companies in the whole world.
Our own Justice Department doesn't take any action against these guys. It's been 3 years since the debacle in Wall Street that caused our economic collapse. And where's Washington? Where's Washington? They haven't done a damn thing. But look, what you're looking at here, in combination of all these things, is a new model on how to fight back. You have to take action into your hands. Direct, peaceful resistance.
We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. You could be in a lot of trouble. Now, people have figured out that you can hit the powerful where it counts in their pocketbooks. The same thing happened in Egypt, where Mubarak only stepped down after the labor strikes began. And then there's the national and international movement against the power establishment. The group Anonymous recently released this video warning the global banking systems.
We are a decentralized, non-violent resistance movement which seeks to restore the rule of law and fight back against the organized criminal class.
Now that's a little spooky, but I liked it. And apparently they came armed with documents, which we're going to tell you about in a second. But look, what I like is peaceful resistance.
However, they can't just randomly launch an attack. And in order to do it, you have to go on this IRC chat. Anyone can suggest a target. And that person then has to make a compelling case for the target, and then whoever happens to be, it's a quorum of whoever happens to be awake, can vote up or down on this target. So if somebody has not made a compelling enough case, enough people may pull their computers off of this voluntary botnet that the attack might not be nearly as effective. So it is, in fact, an amazing kind of Athenian democracy. If you forget sort of the ethics of what they're doing, place that to one side, what they've achieved is sort of this set of checks and balances that agrees in a very fluid way on what the target is.
This is the new model of fighting back against the establishment and against corporate power. Don't wait for your knight in shining armor to show up from DC. The bad news is he ain't coming. The good news is it turns out you're the knight in shining armor.
I believe that Gandhi's views were the most enlightened of all the political men in our time. We should strive to do things in his spirit, not to use violence in fighting for our cause, but by non-participation in anything you believe is evil.
What's next? What's next is all they can do is shut down the internet itself. And we see how that went for them in Egypt. And we, the people, know that when the government shuts down the internet, that's when it's time to shut down the government. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. And now, you can expect a whole lot more.
Hello, free people of the world. This is Anonymous. It's time to stand up and face the New World Order. Your country calls for you to follow orders and to stand in place like a slave drone. We call for you to say no. We call for you to say you are anonymous. You have the right to stay anonymous, and so shall you do so. Go to protest and stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for what is right. Stand up and say you are anonymous. We are anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a rare look inside Anonymous.
They're this shadowy and motley group of hackers and activists who answer to no one, drawn together by love of internet mischief.
Well, now they're evolving into this movement of social change, a real driving force behind the Wall Street occupiers. No surprise, they're hated by corporate security, but also hunted by the FBI.
And one of the questions we're asking is, who are these people and why are they taking to the streets? To get some answers, Amber Lyons stepped into the shadows.
Back up. It's a dark and disturbing vision. A world where riot police attack with impunity.
What happened? You got shot. Get back.
Where democracy is corrupted by greed and dissent is crushed. That's how Anonymous sees America. And they say that's why they're fighting back.
We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget.
It's a movement that defies description. Leaderless.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
Faceless. Anarchic.
This is our space.
A loose collective born on the internet, Anonymous has no official members and no hierarchy. But within the group, some individual Anons have greater standing, earned by their skills as hackers, video makers,
to see it with my own eyes and record it myself,
and increasingly street-level activists.
Tell me what police state was like.
Troy, not his real name, is one of them.
This is what happens when the people have had enough. This is what happens when greed goes unchecked.
Troy says he was drawn to Occupy Wall Street after watching his mother struggle with medical debts. He himself is working 2 jobs to make ends meet, despite having a college degree.
You kind of just lose track of days, lose track of time, but it's worth it. It's all worth it.
We met him at the Occupy Wall Street camp at Zuccotti Park.
There's no specific person that talks for us. It's more like a hive, you know, an idea is brought up and whoever agrees with it, if the overwhelming majority of people that agree with it, then we go with it.
So we're following Troy, and he's been out here policing, kind of making sure that all of these protesters are getting along with the community and not causing any problems.
We're handling internal affairs as far as damage control within the community, making sure that everybody's respecting the local small businesses around here. How's it going?
But he's not just watching over the protests. He's also watching the police. Part of the evolution of Anonymous from hackers to activists. Anonymous was born a decade ago in one of the weirdest and darkest corners of the internet. An anything-goes image board called 4chan. 4chan users post anonymously, and the name stuck.
We do not forgive.
The group adopted a distinct identity and its own symbolism. A mask taken from the movie V for Vendetta. A retelling of the story of the English rebel Guy Fawkes and his plot to blow up the House of Lords in 1605. Instead of gunpowder, Anonymous uses the internet. Anonymous attacks its targets by flooding and crashing corporate and government websites, or digging up and publicizing highly embarrassing information. It's called trolling. They troll targets out of genuine outrage, but also just for fun.
LULZ, it's a kind of pluralization and bastardization of laugh out loud.
New York University professor Gabriella Coleman has been watching Anonymous for years.
It's a term that kind of denotes this sort of pleasure, humor, laughter, everything from something which is quite playful, harmless, to engaging in a kind of full-fledged trolling attack that humiliates.
Anonymous's campaigns, known as operations or ops, can be dramatic. In late 2010, a distributed denial of service attack took down the website of PayPal after the company cut off support for the online whistleblower site WikiLeaks.
PayPal continues to withhold funds from WikiLeaks, the beacon of truth in these dark times.
16 Anons were arrested by the FBI, charged with conspiring to intentionally damage PayPal's computers.
This is a message from Anonymous to the Bay Area Rapid Transit System, BART.
This summer, Anonymous attacked the San Francisco area's public transportation system, BART. BART had cut cell service within the transit system as a way of disrupting anti-police brutality protests. Anonymous's reaction was devastating and vicious.
We will not issue any more warnings.
Op BART included the release of a naked photo of a senior BART employee.
Sometimes it kind of makes you laugh, sometimes it makes you cringe, sometimes it makes you laugh and cringe at the same time. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my gosh, there is this, dagger that's being thrown.
A naked photo.
Yeah, a naked photo.
Do you feel like there is a fear out there of what they could possibly find or leak about a certain individual?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what makes them who they are, is that they are kind of bad boys and rude boys to some degree. There is a dual sort of fascination and horror that goes on at the same time.
Be aware, be vigilant.
Anonymous was evolving, using its power to shock and disrupt to effect social change. During the Arab Spring, the collective emerged as a full-fledged activist group, taking up the cause of Tunisians fighting against a repressive regime, literally saving lives.
The Tunisian government has made itself an enemy of Anonymous.
They did everything from take down government websites. They wrote scripts to stop the phishing of passwords. They brought massive media attention to Tunisia.
And last fall, Anonymous broke cover here at home, stepping out from behind their secure computer screens for a new cause, Occupy Wall Street.
There is a revolution brewing.
Suddenly, the symbols of Anonymous were everywhere, in flags, masks, banners.
We are the 99%!
When we return, pepper spray and Anonymous strikes back.
How are they getting personal information of these officers?
I'd rather not say.
The shadowy internet group known as Anonymous has grown now far beyond its hacker roots. It's now emerging as a forceful public relations weapon for the Occupy protest movement. Amber Lyon takes you inside Anonymous.
We are Anonymous.
Anonymous likens itself to the Air Force of the Occupy movement.
Everyone, everywhere will be occupying their towns, their capitals, and other public spaces.
Anonymous has an array of people on the streets. We're talking medics in San Francisco, tech support in Washington, D.C. And here in New York, guys like Troy. Troy, not his real name, is part of an army of citizen journalists documenting the movement and the police by broadcasting live video over streaming sites. When they see evidence of what they believe is police misbehavior, Anonymous strikes back, releasing personal information about specific officers.
And hopefully he'll think twice before he pulls out his baton against somebody who's holding a sign saying we just want peace.
And how are they getting cell phone numbers and personal information of these officers or bankers?
I'd rather not say.
In September, an NYPD officer named Anthony Bologna was filmed pepper spraying 2 protesters. Anonymous took direct action.
We will unleash hell on your phones, your servers, and anything else we can find.
One of the most active subgroups within Anonymous is called the Cabin Crew. Their specialty is doxing. It's shorthand for combing the internet for all the information you can find about a target and then releasing it publicly.
Cabin Crew have noticed the injustices being committed by the New York police.
Cabin Crew compiled Bologna's name, his home address, past legal actions, even the names of his family members, and put it all online. After a police investigation and public pressure, Bologna was placed on leave and reassigned to Staten Island.
What do you think that did to the NYPD when they saw this officer's information get posted online?
I think that they would see it as a form of vigilantism. They're pushing the boundaries of the law. But I think some of their actions also reveal the ways in which either private security companies or police are also acting outside of the boundaries of the law.
Anonymous's biggest coup in the propaganda wars was this. An Anon group by the name Operation Leaks posts the clip on YouTube. The next day, the clip tops 100,000 views. 3 days later, 1.5 million. The casually spraying cop had it all. It was outrageous, ridiculous, lulzy, and effective.
Police in riot gear sprayed students, pepper spraying student protesters.
The incident was picked up by the mainstream media and replayed over and over again.
Nice shopping.
Anonymous wants to frame the narrative of the Occupy movement as a contest between peaceful protesters and a militarized police state. Oh my gosh. Reality, though, isn't quite so clear-cut. At Occupy Oakland, some protesters attacked the police with rocks and bottles. Others erupted in a fury after the city tore down their encampment.
They're getting a little heated. Some people are trying to tear down this fence and head into the main area, but others are trying to keep them quiet and calm so that the police don't have to get re-involved.
I need some help. We need some more help over here. You're f***ing willing to fight us, but not the police? They fight the police, and you're doing their job.
The anonymous PR machine focused solely on instances where the cops got out of line. And they have plenty of ammunition.
What happened? What happened? He got shot.
During one night of chaos, police apparently fired a projectile directly at a former Marine named Scott Olson, who was peacefully protesting against the crackdown. Anonymous went into overdrive.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.
Scanning the video for police badge numbers and names, offering a reward for anyone who could identify the officer responsible. The case is still under investigation. The Department of Homeland Security has put out several alerts to law enforcement and corporate security focused mainly on the group's hacking activities. And the FBI has made more than a dozen arrests.
We're living in a police state.
But there's no indication that has cramped Anonymous's style. Their latest op?
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all on planet Earth.
On Christmas Day, members crashed the website of a security research company, hacking its client list along with their credit card numbers in order to steal $1 million for donations to charity.
We are anonymous. Expect us.
And our correspondent Amber Lyon now joins us here in studio. A little frightening,
yeah,
a little scary.
Slightly, especially for law enforcement in many aspects.
You know, I got to ask, so what if they get it wrong? What if they put up some personal information that is inaccurate? Do they have any accountability?
There's very little accountability because of the way Anonymous is organized. Anyone can claim to be anonymous. There's also a lot of extreme outliers. And you know, law enforcement is intimidated by Anonymous. We tried to get an interview with anyone federally or locally, and they refused to send an officer forward kind of to the chopping block because they feared that if this officer appeared on camera, they could become a target of Anonymous.
This is an anonymous message from the global revolution to politicians, dictators and plutocrats all over the planet. Surprised by the global disobedience? Let us explain to you your delicate situation. Tens of thousands of years ago, human beings began to evolve. Since then, our species has walked a dark and bloody road, which isolated people condemned to live in fear caused by ignorance. Knowledge, ethics and technological development have always been conditioned by the elite and their wars, which is in the Orwellian metaphor, have done nothing more than perpetuate vertical and obscurantist social schemes. We have arrived to the 21st century of our era, after 2 world wars, endorsing the possibility of nuclear conflict with assured mutual destruction. Their so-called economists and intellectuals, having announced that it was the end of the story, it seemed, more than ever, that looking for a fairer order was meaningless. Thinking that they had slowed our rational development enough, they let us carry on with a progress model whose sole objective was never more than to make them even richer and more powerful. However, they did not consider that the real human spirit refuses to bow, always. While they believed they were overcoming us by using economic shocks, our species has evolved in a new manner. Using only the powers of culture and freedom, we have reused those technological resources that were born of our genius and that were only provided to us with consumerist intentions. So we have updated, improved and immunized our force operations and effectiveness. We absorb their own tactics, techniques and power of persuasion to form our own means, dreams and challenges. Today, the revolution is spreading around the planet as a challenge to their oppression, and they shamelessly try to shut down our freedom of expression. Finally, information has reached critical mass, exploding in a melting pot of voices whose new wishes and needs can't be covered by their old paradigm. Now, physically and digitally interconnected, we form a huge collective consciousness. Maybe their corporate media silences what is happening, but they cannot fool us anymore. They can temporarily stop some points, but the process will continue unstoppable and ever-changing. Now it doesn't matter which measures they take for trying to counteract us. The more violence, censorship and obstacles they put in our way, the more they expose their weakness. From every place on the earth, with different ideas and from different conditions, women and men have always existed and always will exist to oppose the pretense of undemocratic and unjust governments. After millenniums of suffering, our species has stood up, and nothing will ever be the same. Their totalitarian game is ending. But friends, the story hasn't ended. This is where it begins. We will take the streets and occupy. Change is happening. The people should never fear the government. The government should fear the people. We are the people. We are the only system. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. Join us.
The #1 most influential person of 2012, according to RT America, is the hacktivist group Anonymous.
And hacktivist group Anonymous didn't waste any time in firing back.
With Op Mega Upload, shutting down the websites of the Department of Justice, the FBI, the Motion Picture Association of America, Universal Pictures, among many others.
And then, take us a month later and, 10,000 people were just in the streets. And in every major country in the world, in every major city in the world.
And also Syria, where they tried to keep the internet online for many, even though it was virtually shut down for a couple of days.
Help the ones that are dying, and it will further the collective as a whole, and we can help bring a peace within the Gaza region to those people that so desperately need it.
Israel's finance minister acknowledging that it was facing cyber attacks on an unprecedented scale, with over 44 million attempts to attack and disrupt government websites.
Aside from going after websites,
I hereby
declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse. You may be arrested and or subject to other police the use of riot control agents, which could cause risk of injury to those who remain.
We're looking at
We are live.
$15,000 to retain a family law attorney.
Yeah.
We are live, guys.
Yeah, but other types of lawsuits that can be brought again. This is the government you're suing here. So
we are live. We are live.
Yeah.
We
By the way,
we need,
hi guys.
we need more foster parents to sue the system. We need, I mean, not foster parents, but foster children. Excuse me.
You make an organization, and you know, you do it together. I will.
The dangerous thing about class action suits, the dangerous thing about a class action lawsuit, let's say you have 1,000 parents that are suing, you know, all they have to do is knock out that one lawsuit, and you've just got 1,000 people who have lost their chance. So your chances are better for everybody to file individual lawsuits. But even with that, like I said, it all boils down to money. Well, first of all, if you got millions of dollars sitting in the bank and you can afford to sue these people, you're not going to lose your kids because you're going to have the money to keep your kids.
If there are several openings here,
you're breaking it.
We're live.
State some of them can be, prosecuted at the federal level. And, you can make a whole lot of waves if you just start. But just listing problems will not.
I might have to call back in because my phone's breaking up really, really bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Okay,
there's, like I said, prior to doing the show, is that there are so many issues that go back to CPS. There is no oversight. I've literally walked into the FBI office in Sacramento with flyers regarding CPS and, the type of stuff that they're doing to try to get the FBI to even investigate CPS. They're not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. Children are going to continue to die. Children are going to continue to be abused until these parents stand up and really stick together and do something. It's really sad that people get upset when they break their phone or they drop their phone breaks, they'll run out and get a new one, or, they'll get mad over cops shooting people, which, yeah, that shit pisses me off too, because like I said, a cop pulled a gun on me to steal my kid. People will come together during situations like that, but they won't fight for their kids. That's the one thing that frustrates me the most is I sit there and I see people crying, whine about their kids on Facebook, of all things. But yeah, what are you doing about it? I'm not going to sit here and baby the hell out of you. I've lost my kid too. I've lost my kid. I've been through a lot. There's a lot of things in my life that people can't figure out how the hell I'm getting up out of bed every day without being on hella pills, psych meds and stuff. I'm doing it. I have to. My kids are depending on me. I can only pray that my child's going to come back to me one day. And I want to make sure I have a home for her to come back to. I don't want her coming back to some drug addicted mother, or even worse, some mother who's 6 feet deep. We need people to stand together. We need people to really get on the bandwagon with this and do something, because sitting around crying about it's not going to solve anything. And the one thing is I always tell parents too is you can sit there and act like it's not going to happen to you, and you can be a naysayer all you want, but I promise you I'll be there for you when it does. I'll be there for you when it happens, and I will help you any way I can, because it's only the right thing to do. Phone is going off.
That's Kevin's. Well, the problem you have, when you try to sue the government is that it's extremely hard to sue the government. They've made it that way on purpose. They've got all kinds of immunity, layers of immunity, and you can't, the court's rigged. lawyers aren't going to stick their neck out. So I mean, that's how it happens. It's a rigged system.
Yeah, they're all part. The attorneys are part of, they're part of that little elite club. They all have their little bar card, and like I said, a lot of these attorneys will ask you who the judge is in the case because they know that if they are paying into a specific judge's campaign funds every year to keep them on the bench, that they're going to win more cases. So there's a wonderful, wonderful documentary that was produced in 2014, and it's called Divorce Corp. It's Divorce Corp, CORP, and it starts off with explaining the divorce situation. You got a lot of parents too who are walking into court wanting to get divorced. They've got a game plan for their kids. They got the whole thing laid out. They're not fighting. They're not going after each other for money. They just want to get divorced and amicably raise their children. But then you've got this attorney in one parent's ear that will say, well, you got 2 houses. Don't you want one of them? Or, money. And then you got the other parent getting greedy. And then eventually these parents are fighting so bad in court. They've lost the houses in attorney's fees. They've, their incomes, their jobs, whatever. And then they have nothing. And then eventually CPS gets involved because guess what? They can't seem to come up with an agreement to raise their kids. And now they don't have the money to do so. It's a horrible, horrible revolving door. But this documentary explains everything I'm trying to tell you perfectly. And I just wish more people would watch it and you'd get a wonderful sense of what's really taking place in these family courts. I've dealt with, you've got all these foster care agencies and these adoption agencies, and, they are constantly moving the kids around. It's really hard to trace back, to who's doing what, who's responsible for what. I have actually met with the director of DHS. His name is Kevin Gaines in the state of California. He's the one responsible at the Attorney General's office, mind you. Yeah. He is the one that is responsible for dispersing the money to every single county in the state of California that's received from the federal government to Department of Health and Human Services. And he had stated, oh, I know I have a few bad apples. A few bad apples? So you mean to tell me I lost my daughter to one of your bad apples? And this was, I should reiterate, this was during this was with 15 different tribunal leaders for the Native Americans. It was an ICWA hearing in the state of California because CPS, they are coming on and taking Native American children, and the tribunal leaders and their tribunal councils don't have the money to fight CPS. So, Native American children are still being stolen and their families are being desecrated still to this day. But that was when I had met with the director, and by the time I got done with him, all he could do was lay his head in his hands, because I told him, I said, if I didn't do my job, I wouldn't get paid for it, or I probably wouldn't even have a job. So why are you still paying these counties when you know for a fact they're non-compliant with their jobs? Why? So why not sit there and give them letters that if you're not compliant with this, this, and this by this next fiscal season, you're not going to get this, this, and this? Because nobody cares. They don't care. They just want their money. They're going to lie in these reports, because why have to go by with what the reports the counties give me? They're lying their ass off to you, and you know they are. And you're still turning it over to the federal government to take money. Social Security money at that.
Is that where they get all their funding?
So I don't know. What's that?
From the state.
It's a mistake, but the taxpayers are allowing it. Every single taxpayer in this country and beyond are responsible for what's happening. Because let me tell you, you cannot tell me that CPS and social services and CAS, the Canadian Aid Society, you can't tell me they're not all connected and they're not all communicating. Because after me sitting in that meeting and there's a social worker from the UK there, why is she here? Why is she all the way here from England if you guys aren't working together? And the fact that I've worked with Opexpose CPS in 4 different countries. I've talked to people in all these countries. I still talk to people in these other countries. And, the similarities are just, it's like everybody's following each other. They're all playing follow the leader and doing the same thing. it's horrible. It's unfathomable. It makes no damn sense to me. It makes no sense. I can just pray to God and hope to God. I believe in a higher power, but everybody says God, but I can only hope that my daughter is safe wherever she is, and that nobody's hurting her. Because that's the thing that breaks me down right there, is not knowing if my daughter's okay. If she's not okay, she's not with me. She's not with her brother. She's not with her grandmother. She's not with the people that love her the most and that have been there. And the thought of anybody hurting her, you let me find out anybody's hurt her, that's when there's going to be problems. I need to find my child. I need to find her. I had to take classes for her to come home from the hospital. A lot of these micro preemie babies, a common cold could kill my daughter. Do these people even know that? Do they know that if she catches a cold, she needs to go to the hospital because she was born so premature? They don't care. They don't care. They're medical kidnapped children being kidnapped because a parent wants to receive a second opinion about something, and doctors are calling the cops and calling CPS.
Well, there's also not vaccinating your kid is another reason to get CPS. Being testing positive during a pregnancy can involve CPS. There's a bunch of reasons why they do, and to be honest with you, none of them. I don't think a lot of them are valid points.
Yeah, it used to break my heart, honestly. Seeing what I've seen in the NICU, I've seen foster mothers come and pick up babies straight from the hospital, but I've also seen a woman who had 6 kids. Husband was in prison, had taken the cops on a high-speed chase, was in prison. Her baby literally was born with no skin on his behind because she was popping Norco. She would pop like 20, 30 Norco at a time during her whole pregnancy, and she ended up having him early. And she was getting mad at the doctors for giving this baby morphine to help with his withdrawals.
Yeah.
But guess what? That baby went home with her.
Well,
that
they're
baby
not,
left
they're
the
not
hospital
interested
with
in
her.
that kind of baby. They can make more money off of a white, blue-eyed kids.
Thank you for saying that, because
Yeah.
that's something a lot of people don't understand. That's my point. They want these children that are well behaved, aren't going to have long-term medical issues. Children that can beat into submission. So therefore, you've got children that you got a 3-year-old who comes from a good loving parent, and who cares if they don't have a lot of money, as long as that child's well cared for. That child's crying now. Okay, the child's got mental health issues. Let's go put him on some psychotropic drugs and dope him up. And now they're getting even more money because that they've created a mental health issue. When reality is that child just wants to see a familiar face. That child just wants to see a familiar face.
Giving them giving them absurd psychiatric diagnoses to get more funding to get the kid on medications such as Ritalin and antidepressants at a young age.
Yeah, then you wonder why we have such bad drug problems in this country. For a lot of them who were in foster care or whatnot, or being raised on Ritalin, whatnot, are thinking that it's okay because it was given to them as children. We're giving the wrong message. There's just about every single topic that we could talk about, I could go into great detail with. It's a revolving door. The issue is bigger than what people realize. It's bigger than what people know. And like I said on the news, you're only going to hear about CPS rescuing a child from filthy conditions. That's all you're ever going to hear about. You might hear about the child dying here and there, but the problem is way worse than people realize.
You also have the abusive the foster mother, wherever the hell they place them.
Foster parents, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was getting at. My daughter was placed with a foster mother, and believe it or not, after a while, I was actually going to this lady's home and babysitting my own child on the weekends, and babysitting her 12-year-old adopted son, while she went out on the weekends. And my daughter, I was authorized for 4-hour visits twice a week for her to come home eventually. I was keeping my daughter for a week at a time. I've got numerous pictures and videos to prove so. Well, it was the same lady who accused me of refusing to bring my daughter home from a visit, and resulting in me not getting my daughter back. Well, come to find out, she put in to adopt my child. One day I got this random ass message on Facebook from some guy telling me that he had information about this woman. And by this point, I was desperate to get my child back. I'm like, look, I hope this isn't a game. I'm really desperate to get, this woman's making my life hell. And, it's this woman would want me to make a fake account to spy on her ex-husband, and come to find out it was her ex-husband. He had a private investigator find me. And he asked me to talk to their 22-year-old daughter. Well, I ended up talking to their 22-year-old daughter, and she's like, I hate my mom. I've had to get restraining orders against her. I can prove she has 17 fake accounts. She tortures me. She makes my life hell, stalking me. And she used to drag me around by my foot on the carpet. I'd get rug burns on my back. Why? It's odd because I've got pictures with those same type of marks on my daughter. And that's when I found out that in the 1980s, this woman had abandoned a 4-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old daughter at the children's receiving home, which is the intake for these children when they're removed from their families. Never came back for them. But yet, she was allowed to adopt a baby straight from the hospital. She was allowed to become a foster mother. And these are the types of, and I went to the state of California. I went to the state, with these concerns, and they supposedly did investigations. She supposedly lost her foster care license. And lo and behold, a month later, I lost my parental rights. Because they knew that if they gave me my daughter back, I could legally sue the hell out of them. So they took my parental rights from me. And come to find out, I had, I think it's called a WC300. It's a form that the attorneys can file to show changes in the case, and you have to get a hearing within 24 hours. I never got my hearing, and I was told that the motions were denied. I had 3 of them. Come to find out, the first 2 were
ignored.
That they went through. I should have got my daughter back even after my daughter didn't come home. The initial return date of August 5th, 2014. So I was finding out all this stuff after my parental rights were terminated. It's just, it's horrible. And the stuff that they say about parents in these reports, it took me forever to go through 1,000 pages of my transcripts.
Well, a
And
lot
the
of
stuff that I was reading.
a lot of the stuff these social workers write is bullshit. I used to get the reports in my office, and I'd be like, they told me, that I can't go into details about what the clients were, what the clients was going on with them, but they made it so what it wasn't, and pretty much made up stories about these clients when I'm certified in my field and they're not certified in the field that I'm trying to do. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's I have oh gosh, I forgot where I was going with this, but you're right. I've seen it. Like I said, I have a letter of her trying to force me into treatment programs. Why do that to me when there's a parent out there who could really use it?
Well,
and
yeah,
if you have a 5-month,
go ahead.
And not only that, but right now I do have a couple of foster parents who are absolutely fabulous, who are on my Facebook, who, because of my story, because of what they've learned about me and they've gotten to know me, they've told me that I've made a difference in their lives because they no longer believe everything that they're told about the parents of the children they have in their care. That some of them have actually taken the time to get to know the parents, which is they don't allow that to happen because then they'll say you're too enmeshed with the parent or whatnot, and they'll remove the children. But they are actually, one of them, she's fabulous. She's actually helped get a couple of the children in her care home, when the social workers were pushing for this woman to adopt these kids. The whole FOS to adopt thing. It's a really sad situation. I'm gonna get off the phone here shortly. I have so much stuff to do, but we could go into depth with this, and I will get the information that I have, because I have a lot of it. A lot of stuff a lot of research, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I'll tell you that much right now. Of having to face off with these people, and you go over it, it's mind blowing. It's really hard for me to go through some of it at times by myself. Thank God Yuri goes through a lot of it with me. I don't think it's, even for me, as strong-minded as I am, it's difficult to read some of the stuff that's been written about me, or to see some of the stuff that's blatantly there, and people are so blind they don't want to accept it. But I'll get through all that and get it to you. But I really, really do thank you for having me on here, and we're gonna definitely do it again soon. All right,
All right.
and I, like I said, you guys have a good night, but I just really hope that it helps other people by hearing my stories and other people's stories, because every story really is different. But we're all treated the same. We're all treated like we're scum of the earth, and it's sad. But I'm gonna get off here. You guys have a good night, and yeah, we'll do it again soon.
All right.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Andrew.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
You remember that story, Tyler? It was with DynCorp, where they had American kids that were in the CPS system that were found dead in Africa.
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's about 10 years old now, possibly, but yeah, DynCorp, they got U.S. Military contracts and all. They do a lot of work, overseas countries. But yeah, even though when they were kind of implicated and all that, they never lost their contracts. Nobody really got in trouble. That's just going back to her oversight problem. There is no oversight. When you can lose kids and they end up dead in another continent, yeah, something's wrong.
Well, yeah, we were talking about that before the show. Is that I'm not sure if there's any oversight. Well, I mean, like some of the stuff that these CPS officers were telling me, where they didn't have the qualifications to tell me what. In fact, they didn't have the right to tell me how to do my job. When I have the certification and I'm working for a state-funded agency that helps people with their problem, I know what I'm capable of doing, but I'm not sure if they know what they're doing.
They got high turnover.
Really? Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, some of this stuff. One of them actually subpoenaed me on one of my assessments and told them that that I had falsified an assessment. And I'm like, look, dude. What the clients tell me is what is going on. I can't make them do one thing or the other. Whatever they want to say is what they want to say. Is everybody there? Did I lose anybody?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
for
Yeah, I was gonna say, when exactly do we have this jurisdiction where we have, children snatchers that are working for the state? I don't know. Maybe I just see things differently.
yeah, about me.
What?
Yeah. What?
Oh, yeah. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah. The last not. I don't hear the last thing. No. What happened to me? Yeah. Yeah. I was home and somebody set me up, I think, and there were cops on my door. They're knocking on the door. My mom do open, and they say, "Yeah, we have a warrant for a search your house and everything." I say, "For what?" Because you accused by holding a child from 12 years old. I was freaking out when I don't know who this girl is or whatever. What happened? She's supposed to be missing or whatever, and the cops were on the door. They come into the house, and I was freaking out. I don't know. Yeah, maybe some people saw my live streams on my account, but yeah, I'm still freaking out. What happened really? Because I think some haters or whatever, or people that are jealous or enemies. I don't know, but yeah, the cops searched everything, all the rooms, everything what you can, yeah, the backyard. Yeah, they were saying that I was holding a girl, but I get a number now. I got a number from the people, and they are the parents. And I call it as parents, and they say this, no, our daughter's home.
Yeah.
So, huh? What the fuck? I I call back to the cops, and they say, oh, you don't know about this. So, huh? But they were more looking at they were not looking more looking for a girl. They were more looking to my property. Um, I don't know what. I think somebody set me up or whatever, but they make me public. Yeah.
Do you think this has anything to do with the G20 thing you guys crashed?
I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
I'm
this
serious.
This is like this is like Julian Assange. See, this is what they do with political activists. They charge you with sex crime to drag you in and get you in trouble.
I called the parents, and the girl is home, and they were searching my rooms, everything.
Yeah, your girlfriend left too, right?
Yeah, she believed that I really kidnapped a girl from 12 years old. Yeah, what the fuck? Really? Yeah, but it's not fun. But yeah, I must laugh now, But they cannot charge him with nothing. They have no proof or whatever, because yeah, that's. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna call tomorrow back to the cops and say hey, this girl is there with his parents. I don't know these people. I know the parents.
Yeah.
They live, 2 months here in the neighborhood here. I know them from, on the street, when I in the store or whatever. But I don't know the daughter or the. I don't. Yeah.
Didn't you tell me the cops were looking for you because of that G20, because of something you did at the protest?
Yeah.
You think that's related?
It is.
Yeah,
Come
like
on.
you,
this is
well,
what
like you
scumbag
think, yeah.
governments do to their people. I mean,
I know I'm a lot of active here, and I think it's something. Yeah, that's wrong. The girl is home there with the parents, and they're searching all the home, house, backyard, the garage, everything. The attic, and they were more looking to my property than the girl. I tried to record everything, but yeah.
Did they even file a complaint?
What?
Did the parents even file a complaint? I mean, if the kid's home, it's pretty obvious they wouldn't file a complaint, right? I mean, the cops are just bullshitting you, probably.
Yeah, I told them, but they don't understand it too. That's a strange thing about it. The cops had a warrant with the paper, everything on from you have the right for search your house. Normally you can refuse, but they had a warrant. That's strange. I don't know these people. I know the parents, but that I kidnapped a girl from 12 years old. This is really wrong because I'm the first one try to catch these people, that do these things, and I'm going to be accused about these things. This is ridiculous. They have no proof or nothing because they don't find nothing. I don't know what they are really doing. We're doing here in my house, in my mom's house. Yeah. It was on. It's now 4 hours ago that they were here. Yeah, it's.
Hey guys, I'm here. Hey, is it possible that that they bugged your house while they were there?
Dude, yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean, they didn't. If the if the cause wasn't just and they got a warrant to go there, they wanted to get in your house for some reason.
Yeah, I know. I don't know for what. Yeah,
Well,
you
if
can.
you're working on something, they could have bugged your computer. They could have just slammed a hard drive in there, or I'm sorry, a zip drive. They could have
Yeah,
done anything.
yeah, because I was downstairs and they were upstairs here. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would do a sweep.
Yeah, you can get one of those cheap. You can get one of those cheap you get one of those cheap RF detectors and search around your room. Just don't get all freaked out if you get any like hits on your wall. It's probably just a faulty outlet.
Yeah. I was.
Well,
Yeah, I was playing.
they're using every technique though that they use to go after people though. I mean, they're on to you, Kevin. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And if you've been involved in that pedo hunt too, you're probably having the pedo groups come after you, and they're all entrenched in the legal cops and the government. So it all fits.
Yeah, and now they charge me with kidnapping from a 12-year-old girl that is home. You know, that's.
Yeah.
This is strange, and yeah, I was downstairs and they were upstairs. Yeah, for maybe 10 minutes or something. Yeah. Now you say it. Yeah.
Have you brought this up? Have you brought this up with the rest of your group up there, where you live?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say they might have some resources that we don't have over here to figure out what's going on.
Well, I mean, first thing to see, is there even a complaint? Because if the kid's at the house and there was no complaint,
No,
how did they get
no.
a warrant? You know, it's
No.
totally, this is all fabricated.
I know his parents. They look like a little bit drug addicts. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but they look like this, you know. But I don't. I know them from seeing. You know, I say, hey, have a good day. You know, but I don't know them. Yeah, I never was. Yeah, but finally I got the number. I call the parents. I say, what's going on? The cops were here. They say I kidnapped your daughter. No, the daughter is here.
What if they weren't the cops, dude?
They were cops. Yeah, they were real cops. Because I asked for the badge and everything. But they were a little bit confused too. It was strange, really.
Well, it's because they're getting told what to do and it don't add up, but they're doing it anyway because they need a check.
Yeah.
This is what security services and intelligence agencies do when they're going after an activist. This is exactly what they do. And this is exactly the charge because it's totally discrediting. Even if it's all bullshit,
it's still on your record.
Everybody will disown you.
There's a warrant. There's a warrant somewhere in the legal system that says you did something bad. Yeah.
Fuck. I knew it. I knew it after. Yeah. I'm a long busy now, but eventually, they are trying to, fuck me over. You know, do something or accuse me or whatever. But I recorded everything. You know, I had everything on live stream.
Oh, you did? You live streamed it onto your Facebook page?
Yeah. in my pocket, yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
I saw some of that.
I don't show the faces of whatever, but I had my phone in my pocket. Sometimes I take it out, and it's not good quality or whatever. But I have. After I was pissed off, you heard me yelling to discuss on. No, you could not go to my room or whatever. You could not. I was pissed off. But I'm gonna see. Yeah, like you say, maybe they did something with my computer or whatever. I don't know, but I'm gonna see.
I would say just wipe your hard drive, man.
Yeah.
Just wipe your computer and start from scratch.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it, but in 3 days because tomorrow I'm gonna do anonymous camping. You know, there are some meetings there and we do some barbecues. You know, it's more a little bit Yeah, everybody come together. The Belgium announce. There's a reason. Well, maybe I do it. Maybe now. I don't know. It's maybe best I do it now.
Be like, guess what, motherfuckers? The cops are after us,
But
and this
yeah.
time it's real.
Yeah. Yeah, it freaked me out, but yeah.
I'm
But
going
first
to
thing
go
I'd
down
ask
the
is,
rabbit hole here.
go ahead, Ed.
Well, I was going to say,
Yeah.
what if they want to hear what's going on at this meeting you're going to?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
what if
that's
they
so
know you're
strange.
going
Yeah.
to this place, so they bug you?
Yeah, but because it's like a camping place, but it's not official. It's a little bit, hide. um, yeah, it's maybe possible. Yeah,
I could
I'm gonna.
too much House of Cards.
Yeah, but
You're breaking up a little bit.
yeah, a little bit. So in the end,
We need to chase down, how they got a warrant. Kevin, I would assume the same process as here. If those people never made a call and they dispatched people and got with this warrants and all this, I mean, that's not a process. See,
no.
That's just make believe. If you can prove there was never any call,
Normally,
then all the
about
rest of it is BS. And
it's normally I can sue them because they have not the right normally for go into my house. I'm a mom's house. I live here. It's a big house, but they have not the right normally for go without. Normally they must do first give you a warning here, and then they're gonna go to the judge, ask for permission, for go into your house, and then they can. But they were on the first time they were on the door and they had a paper here.
Yeah, if it's an ongoing crime, though, they can do it a lot quicker and do it almost immediately. But there has to be a call. There has to be the dispatch. There's a whole other chain of events that has to happen before.
I think it's set
the
up.
warrants issued.
I think it's something set up or whatever. It's not normal. Then I never. Normally the cops are really good here, but there's the first time they were really. Yeah, we had the warrant. We could go into your house and say, "Whoa."
Did you see the warrant?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I fell for that trick a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah, they had it. They had it, and that's strange because normally they must first give you a warning before they can enter your house. It was strange.
Yeah.
But let's see what happened.
Well, it's bad news because they're on you, man. That's what it tells me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel good. Now I'm a little bit better, but
I would go down. I would go down to the police and try and see if you can get any records pertaining to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah, I know. And I'm gonna call the cops tomorrow too. What the deal is, what.
Or at least see some paperwork,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible, but.
Yeah, 911 records. There's got to be dispatch records. I mean, there's records now. Whether how long it takes to get to them and all is a problem. But
and
six to 8 weeks, right?
I recorded a call to the parents too. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Now that's bad in a way because I don't know where you got that number. You got it from the cops, you said? And then there you call the parents when you're supposedly kidnapping the kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like setting you up for a stalking or, on top of everything else. I mean,
it was strange because the cops say they call the chef from the big guy, and they say, yeah, we can give you the information. This number. Normally we cannot give this, but they give it to me. That was strange too.
Yeah,
and I called it this number. Yeah, it's yeah, I'm still confused a little bit about it, but I, tomorrow I go to this camping and this meeting, and it's for 3 or 4 days. We are there, but yeah, I cannot let it with this because it's weird. And a lot of people really think now that I kidnapped a girl from 12 years old, you know? Yeah. But it's gonna be okay. I'm positive, you know? You must do, because...
Yeah, it sounds almost as freaky as when I had the DEA show up at my door only to find out that somebody had dropped my name from a lifestyle that I walked away from to get a lesser charge. Like, what the fuck is the DEA doing here? I'm clean as fuck. What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be okay, I think, you know. Let me see. But yeah, like you say, like you guys saying, you know, it's suspicious that they were for 10 minutes upstairs when I was downstairs, and yeah. Yeah.
Have you looked in your room yet to see if there was anything?
Yeah, I did, but
What
I
was
see
it?
nothing wrong. I see nothing wrong. Nothing.
Nothing missing.
No. Yeah. I went to my hard drive and all other stuff, USB sticks and thing, but no, everything is still in the place where it must be. But um, yeah, no, I'm freaking out. But yeah,
Where's your girlfriend right now?
oh, she's gone.
Like gone or?
Yeah, she blocked me. No, I met her on the internet, you know.
Yeah.
She wanted to come in September. She wanted to come, but I think she believed it, all this crap that she saw on the live stream, whatever. And yeah, you know how that works, you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the
But-
cops wouldn't just show up for nothing, Kevin. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
you know, come on, they're professionals and they've done all the,
Yeah,
you know, they've
and
looked
she
into
heard a
this.
little bit. Yeah, and she heard a little bit, and I told her from now the cops are here, searching my thing, and I told everything, you know. I don't lie, you know. And yeah, she said, "Oh my God," and then choom, she was gone.
She's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, oh my god, what is
Yeah,
involved
oh my
with
God, she was way there. Okay.
Maybe
Next
she had a
one.
warrant out too.
It's possible.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
just don't worry. These aren't cops; they're really terrorists. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But I'm fine now. I'm better now. Yeah. See ya.
So don't you guys have something planned in August though over in Belgium, like another op?
Yeah. Wait there. I'm gonna look. We, we have every month something to do, but boo, boo, boo. Yeah, I'll make a little list. I know tomorrow is at the camping and the meeting. It's for 4 days, and I think the week after, then we have an awakening in the city in Belgium. The awakening is a little bit prepare for the 5th of November. Wait there.
Yeah.
I don't find it. Wait there.
Shit, the stream got dropped.
Oh.
Hold on.
So did anything, hey Kevin, did anything happen before all this happened? I mean, you've been pretty stable
No.
for